Hello, it's me, Robin, with Simple Food, Simple Life. I hope everyone is doing well. I'm doing pretty good. The mornings are cooler, the days are cooling off, and that's not a bad thing. All right, I've got some leftovers here, and some pantry staples. So what I'm going to do this morning is I'm going to rework these. Now, I've got two cheddar brats that were pan fried, and I've got just a very small amount of scalloped potatoes here. So those are going to go in the dish. I've got one box of Aldi scalloped potatoes. A lot of you may be familiar with these. These cost under $1, and well, they did when I purchased them. They cost under $1. So I'm simply going to follow the box directions on the back and to make up the dish. Now, in case you weren't aware, these also have stovetop instructions as well. So, and I did make a video in the past on how to make potato soup out of this box of scalloped potatoes. So you can use these in a myriad of ways. I've got 1 can of evaporated milk, and I've got 1 can of mixed vegetables. I also remembered that I have a partial envelope of cheese powder from a box of mac and cheese. I had just used the macaroni and this was left. Part of this package went on popcorn. I think I have a video on that as well, how you can use this on your hot popcorn. It's delicious. Make your own cheesy popcorn. Anyway, I have heated the oven to 400 degrees, which is what it tells me on the box. Oh, excuse me. It tells me 450 degrees. So I reckon I better put this up to 450. Oh my word, I'm glad I looked. Okay, so I'm going to prepare these ingredients and then we'll come back. Okay, in this dish, and make sure you use an oven-safe dish, I poured the dehydrated potato contents of the box. And it said add 2 cups of water. It says boiling water, but I always use just hot tap water and it works fine. 2/3 cup of milk, which I have the evaporated milk here, and I diluted it with a little bit of water to bring it to about 2/3 of a cup. So we've got that. This is a 1/2 pint jar, so that is 1 cup. Okay? And it also calls for a tablespoon of butter. So I'm going to put just, eyeball it, and I'm going to put in a tablespoon of butter. Now, I usually sprinkle some pepper on this mixture. I don't really go for much in the way of salt because the powder mixture for these scalloped potatoes are usually salty enough, but you can always add it after you serve it. So then that goes in, and I'm going to use the rest of this cheese powder from the mac and cheese. Okay. If you have boxes of mac and cheese in your pantry and you need macaroni for a dish, just use the macaroni. You don't have to use the powder envelope, the contents of the cheese powder. You can just, not. You can save it for something else. You'd be surprised how much that little box of macaroni and cheese yields in the way of macaroni. You would be surprised about that. Now, I want to use up this little dab of leftover scalloped potatoes. Yes, I know they're already cooked, but that's all right because they're just going to dissipate. Probably dissolve even more in the mixture, but that's all right. Now, I decided, because I've got some dried minced onion here, I'm going to put some of that in there for flavor, which will be good. And I'm going to put some parsley in there as well. A little color. And I've cut up both of these brats. These are brats from Aldi. They were marked down when I bought them. I bought a package of Italian and a package of cheddar brats. These are very good, by the way. I actually probably could have gotten away with just using one brat for this dish, but I decided to use both of them, and I'm going to make it meaty. I originally skillet cooked the brats with peppers and onions, and then I had a side of scalloped potatoes. They were really good. It was very delicious. So I'm going to put some pepper on here. You can put any kind of seasoning in this that you like, because you know what, we're using the leftovers, and so you know, just do what you want. And I made a note to myself that using this box of scalloped potatoes, which is pretty inexpensive, you can use any leftover meat you have. You can use ground beef, the sausages like I have, you can use chicken, you can use maybe if you have a leftover pork chop, you can use all kinds of add-ins to make this stretch. If I wanted to, I could drain this and add in this can of mixed vegetables if I want to. I could add some peas in here if I want to. You can put tuna in here. It's just up to you what you want to do. So just kind of think about it. This is going to go from one little plastic container of some leftovers and the potatoes were skimpy, to this, just by opening this box and using a few pantry staples. I think that's really good. Okay, this is going to go into the oven. It tells me to bake it for 25 minutes or until the top is light brown and potatoes are tender. Remove from the oven. Sauce will thicken upon standing. Let stand a few minutes before serving, and then bake 5 minutes longer for more golden brown top and softer potatoes. So 25 to 30 minutes. Okay, in it goes, 450 degrees. All right, the scalloped potatoes and brats are done. I'm going to let it sit for 5 minutes. Now, I checked on the potatoes about midway, and I realized that the cheese powder from the mac and cheese box was thickening the potatoes more than they normally would be. So I stirred them, added some water to it so that it would not be quite so thick, because you can see they were starting to get a little bit crispy on the edges there. So, and then I added an additional 5 minutes, so it was in the oven at 450 for 30 minutes. Now I'm just going to let it set out for a few minutes like the instructions say, and then we will look at it again. Awesome. Okie doke. Now, this looks pretty doggone good. It smells really good too. So let's see. It's nice and creamy. Potatoes are done. You can see the cheddar brats there. And I think it's very, very good. Now then, this is what I'm going to do. I've got a couple of divided containers here. And I'm going to eat a portion of this and divide a portion, divide the rest, so that I actually have meals ready to heat, ready to eat and heat. So I figured this is going to make 4 ample portions. So I'm going to dig in here. Going to put this in. Now this is still hot. That's okay. I will be sure and let these cool down before I put them in the refrigerator, because that's what you should do. So now you can make your portions as large as you want if you decide to turn this into a little meal prep. Okay? It's up to you. But you can see from these pantry staples and leftovers that we actually have plenty of food. Now, this is some corn that I had left over. This is corn that I scraped from the cob. So I'm going to add some of that in there. My late husband and I, when we had these kind of meals that were absence of green, we called it yellow meals. We'd say that's a yellow meal. Okay, I'm just going to use the rest of this corn in this one dinner. This corn is really, really good. And all it has on it is butter, salt, and pepper. Now then, if you've never tried it, do you know that if you have a stray hot dog bun or two, that if you cut it in half, it's just about the size of a dinner roll? Isn't that awesome? And they are good. They are as good as dinner rolls. So I'm going to put one of these in here and save one for another, the other meal that we're going to fill up. And there is our meal prep. Isn't that awesome? Now then, let's do this one. Remember that can of vegetables I took out to show you? You could open that and put that in your meal if you want to. You do whatever you like. So this is going to go in here. So there we got half of it. Half of it is scooped up, scooped out, and the other half is left. See? Awesome. So I'm going to put the hot dog / dinner roll in here. And that leaves this section open for whatever you want to put in it. Now, you can serve this. I could put another leftover vegetable in there if I want to. Or you can serve this with something fresh. Just heat it up in your microwave and add something fresh on the side, maybe some sliced tomatoes, a small side salad. You could put in a frozen vegetable in this section. Instead of canned vegetables, you could put a frozen vegetable in there if you want to. and heat it up with your meal. Warm this up, put a little butter on it, and it's wonderful. If you have freezer containers, you can do the same thing in a freezer container, and you've got your pre-frozen meal all ready to eat anytime you want. Okay? All right. That's it. Give it a try, and listen, I just want to tell you, do not underestimate the power of your pantry. A stocked pantry is a very powerful item to have in your arsenal. It is a very powerful thing, because if you have a few leftovers and some pantry items, you can prepare a meal. Think about those 2 brats and that little tiny bit of scalloped potatoes. That might feed 1 person. This will feed 1 person or 2 people many times, or it will feed, let's say, 4 people. So, don't underestimate the power of your pantry and leftovers. Pantry power is an awesome thing. And you can do it little by little. Okay? All right, listen, I love you guys. You know I do. And as always, you know that little is much when God is in it. Okay, I love ya. Don't forget, check that fridge and the pantry. Waste not, want not. All right, I'll see you later. Bye-bye.